Good evening, everyone. ISTE VIT is back again with yet another enlightening event striving Sheroes. I am Riddhi Dhawan and I am a representative of ISTE VIT and your host for the webinar. ISTE VIT is a national, professional, and a non-profit technical chapter in VIT Vellore. Our goal is to provide technical education in diverse fields of engineering and to stimulate creativity and passion amongst budding engineers. As an active student chapter, we conduct a number of events around the year, including hackathons, workshops, and webinars. Today, we are conducting yet another inspiring session striving Sheroes. To commemorate the Girl Power Week, we at IST VIT have planned an informative webinar by our distinguished speaker, Ms. Manaswini, who is currently working as a software engineer at Red Hat. Today, she'll be talking about gender equitable data processing systems and the importance of women in STEM, and also about her journey, which in turn will surely motivate us to work hard and strive for the best. Without any further ado, I will hand over the session to our speaker, Ms. Manaswini Das. None the stage is all yours.
Thank you. I'll just quickly share my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me see. It's visible, right?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
So cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in on Thursday evening to listen to this webinar. I'm more than honored to be here. So yes, I'll be speaking about gender parity in STEM and also in regular life, and also about my journey about gender equitable data processing systems and all of that. So yes, before I start, I would, as Riddhi already introduced me, additionally, I would like to say I'm just an open source lover and someone who strives for equal rights for women all the time. So yes, and also I am a Processing Foundation Fellow and outreach intern. Outreach, I'll tell more about it in the session. So cool. Walking you through the table of contents. That is, first of all, I'll be giving an overview about gender equality. Then I'll be walking you through the need for gender parity, followed by the need for gender equitable data processing, followed by gender parity in STEM. Then I'll give some highlights about my journey as to what stuck out to me and what were the problems I faced and what helped me overcome all of them. And then I'll give some tips about women empowerment. So cool. First, I would like to get started with some overview, right? Because this is essential because this lays the foundation of why we are here, why we are discussing this in the first place. So according to an article which was published in UNICEF in September 2021 on gender equality, the available data suggests that in the first decade of life, that is from 0 to 9 years, the gender disparities are relatively small and particularly in early childhood. Overall, children are equally likely to be registered at birth and immunized, irrespective of gender. But there are certain, you can say, exceptions. I mean, obviously, we have heard about female infanticide a lot. So, yes, so gender disparity is prevalent in certain countries. So, talking about the next walk of life, I would say adolescence, that is children aged from 10 to 9 years. There are certain stats that I would like to share. That is, worldwide, girls aged 5 to 9 and 10 to 14 spend 30% and 50% more of their time, respectively, on doing household chores than boys of the same age. I think you're already aware of it, right? Next thing is globally, 22% of the adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 are not in education, employment, or training, compared to 12% boys of the same age. And in 2020, 77% of new HIV infections among adolescents aged 10 to 19 years occurred among girls worldwide. I think this is an alarming number. Then we have another stat that says 1 in every 20 adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 years, around 13 million, have experienced sexual abuse. So I think that is an alarming number as well. Around 1 in 3 girls aged 15 to 19 today have undergone female genital mutilation in the 30 countries where it is concentrated. And in 2019, maternal health conditions such as hemorrhage, sepsis, or obstructed labor were the second leading cause of death among girls aged 15 to 19. So, and the next stat says self harm is the third leading cause of death among adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 worldwide. So, so the whole point of all of this was just to draw your attention towards the alarming numbers that adolescent girls are facing around the world. Um, and talking about the next walk of life, that is adulthood, that is these barriers range from women and girls unequal access to resources, information, and technology to a lack of safety, mobility, and decision making, as well as gender norms that circumscribe both women's and men's roles and responsibilities, also opportunities. For example, in most countries with available time use data, women do more unpaid work, including domestic and care work, than men, limiting women's ability to enter and progress in the labor market. So, yes, then coming to the need for gender parity, that is, first of all, what does it bring to the table, right? So, the first thing that it brings to the table is diverse perspectives, and it also inculcates empathy. That is, if you get a chance to listen to people from different genders, then you get to know about what problems they have faced, what experiences they have, and what are the concerns that they have, because there is a high possibility that there may be concerns that the male counterparts are not even aware of in the first place, but it would be highly prevalent in the female counterparts, right? So that is what diverse perspectives, having diverse perspectives is extremely essential um, for an organization or a system. And the next thing is it's good for economy. Okay, this was a new fact for me, to be very honest, because recently I came across an article that was published in an Australian government website, and it states that Australia's GDP would increase by 11% if the gender employment gap was closed. I think that's highly, you can say, fascinating. The next thing that it stated was businesses with at least 30% women in leadership positions are 15% more profitable. So I think these numbers speak highly about what gender parity can do to economy. Followed by focus on individual aspirations. I wrote this because I feel that if there is gender parity, if there is equal opportunities, equal resources provided to all the genders, then there will be um, respectable. There will be respectable spaces created for women and all other genders to provide to put forth their opinions, put forth the aspirations, and that will lead to a healthier environment. Next thing is it's a human right. I mean, it is one of the sustainable development goals for the upcoming years. If you have attended the United Nations, sustainable development goals, all the sustainable development goals has something to do with gender equality. So yes, it's a human right. And the next thing is it makes communities safer and healthier because we take all opinions into consideration, all the use cases into consideration, and make a community more wholesome. Next is what is the need for gender equitable data processing? So the first thing is obviously there is no centralized data anywhere that helps us gauge what is the current state of art situation as to how many females or how many people who belong to the female gender are currently affected by the government policies or not. So it will help us assess the current situation, of course, and it will help us provide a centralized data or a single source of information. So that will help us develop appropriate evidence-based responses and policies, and it will help us track changes and take corrective action whenever necessary as well. So how can we do this? So the first thing that comes to mind is the civil society organizations or the NGOs that are working closely with women affected with sex trafficking, women affected with very recently pandemic. So all of them. So all of these civil society organizations, including NGOs and women's groups, can be precious allies in gathering information about the potential or actual impact of government policies, and they should be consulted regularly so that we come to know what the situation is. Also, we can have surveys, we can have, door-to-door discussions, we can have interviews, reviews, opinion polls, and benchmarking. Some effective methods to obtain and analyze data on diversity policies. Also, we can build public servants awareness and expertise through information campaigns, and training is also important. So yes, all of these can be brought into consideration whenever there is a need for gender equitable data processing system. So the next thing is gender disparity in STEM. So as a woman in STEM, I would say that there is a lot of things that comes into mind. I would say I recently attended a talk on double binds, triple shifts, emotional labor, and aspirational women by Jacinta J. She's the founder of HopeWorks. So what HopeWorks does is it kind of helps young women who don't have access to education, who don't have access to proper financial aid to study. It helps them stand on their feet, and it also helps them get financial aid in case they want to uh, study. I mean, maybe UG, I think up to a PG level. So yes, I happened to go to this talk, all thanks to the International Women's Day initiatives that we had at office, and it kind of opened my eyes, and it kind of connected me with them, with their initiative, and also opened. I happened to think a lot of things that was running at the back of my running on the back of my mind, but I was not able to exactly speak about it. So yes, she stressed upon how women are often confused and guilty about not doing enough. So I think that was something that I could relate to the most, because as the pandemic began, I kind of shifted to my parents' place. I mean, where my mother was staying, and every time I'm kind of a bit late to help her cook, I kind of feel guilty automatically. Not because she says that okay, you're not helping me and stuff, but that's something that's kind of ingrained, you can say. That is kind of some conditioning that's there, the way our brains are wired, that we feel guilty about not doing enough for our homes or maybe even at the workplace, or we sometimes think that we are not smart enough to do a certain role. Also, we are often confused, okay, how should we divide my time, how should I divide my time between work and how much time should I how much time should I devote to my home, how much time should I devote with spending time with my parents, or maybe siblings, or maybe children, maybe your spouse, stuff like that, all of that. So yes, and also there is a lot of confusion around whether women should pursue their happiness, or women should actually go to greater lengths to you know pursue what they love, or pursue, maybe be it a career role, be it a volunteering role, whatever, uh, whether they should pursue their happiness in the first place or not. So oftentimes women are required to completely devote themselves to the well-being of the elders or the children that's there in the family, and oftentimes they are not even given a chance to be aware of their rights, in fear that they would defy the age-old traditions that's been there for in the society for a very long time. So also there were stuffs like women doing most of the household chores like cooking, cleaning, and taking care of the elders. It's one such example of unpaid labor. Um, so Jacinta also shared a story where she happened to meet a parent who shared her concerns that her child was, scored little less marks. So, but the catch was, I mean, that can happen, children scoring less marks, that's fine. But the catch was that in the comment section, it was written that the mother should pay attention to the child. No, they didn't even state parents. They said that the mother should pay attention to the child. So that is where I'm going at, gender specific roles. So and also many of the mothers are judged if they're traveling at the time of their children's exams. So I get that a lot. I mean, I'm not a mother yet, but I have seen that many of my relatives who are mothers, they say that uh, you know if I go with my friends when my child has exams, or if I enjoy at that time, then that's going to affect my child's exam. I've seen that a lot. So yes, that is some of the examples of gender specific roles that I'm going at. The next thing is lack of support system. uh, I think this is something that you're extremely aware of. There is a need for everyone to understand and acknowledge the efforts that women play, like be it simply cleaning, or be it simply taking care, be it simply giving a glass of water or so. So there is a need to acknowledge and acknowledge and be thankful about all these small roles that women in our household play. It may be your your housemaid as well. So, and also there is a different light that women see themselves in as well. There are a lot of things women are concerned about. You can say we are concerned about as women, like returning late at night, or behaving simply, or maybe what to wear to the office, or maybe even sitting posture, all of that. So the things that may be miles away from the thoughts of the male counterparts. So yes, we see ourselves in a different light. We see the world in a different light. And also the relatives or the parents or the in-laws must understand the need of individuality and identity in a woman's life, and the need why they want to pursue a job, why they want to pursue their dreams in the first place, because we are individuals uh, as women. And then also support the aspirations as they would support the aspirations of their male counterparts. So there should be a space to voice their opinions and voice their aspirations. So the next thing is emotional labor. I'm not sure whether you're familiar with this term yet or not. Even that is something that I got familiar with very recently. That is, it refers to the process of managing feelings and expressions to fulfill the emotional requirements of a job. So also this reminds me of one of the things that Jason Tha mentioned in her session. That is how women are required to function and act according to an ideal female leader picture. That's this mold or that picture that's created, that requires women only to act in a calm and composed way, whatever the situation, or however hostile or urgent the situation may be. So she also shared such an example. And yeah, so a lot of emotional labor goes around whenever you take a different job. That's something I would say that's not expected of you in the first place. So yes, that's what emotional labor is all about. Also, if you're wondering about, I shared what double binds means. Double binds means confusion. What is triple shift, right? You must be wondering about that. So triple shift is, one is obviously your work shift, the next is obviously your home shift, and the third is the time that you have for yourself, you can say. So something of that sort. So in most cases, what happens is this third shift that I mentioned, having a time for yourself, is completely nil in case of women. Women don't have time to have, some space of their own, because they are so consumed in helping others, helping their children, helping taking care of their elders, all of that. So that takes a toll on the mental health of women. So yes, that's what triple shift was all about, and even that got me thinking. Yes, I think that is one of the major uh, you know that is one of the things that should be considered as well as a third shift. So there are a lot of comments that can come out as insults when it comes to bias. Okay, coming to the bias term, I would mainly focus about unconscious bias, because that is something that's completely unintentional. um, so you should be very careful while you're using something, things like guys, hi guys, even that is not gender inclusive, because that's been going on for a long time. We kind of go ahead with it, but there is some you can say change going on. You can say that it has changed to folks. We are changing it. It's slowly but steadily, it's kind of changing. So I'm kind of happy about all the efforts that's being put in this direction. So talking about unconscious bias, what is that in the first place? So human brains create a prejudice that affects our decision making. Typically, this is meant to help us familiarize ourselves with things that are good, bad, or just patterns of behavior. However, sometimes in a conscious state, our brains are exposed to misinformation and stereotypes. So that's what unconscious bias is all about. Things like ageism, like, if a person is over 50, if a person is young, then, they may be frivolous, they may not be that serious with their career and stuff like that. We get that a lot, right? I mean, even as women, we see, gender specific bias, like work for us is just a hobby. We don't take it seriously. So yes, there is a lot of bias going on. There are certain comments, you must be getting this a lot, like girls from your relatives, like, okay, you're doing a job now, but it's fine, you're gonna quit that, and you're gonna help your in-laws once you get married, all of that. I think all of us get that at least once every day. Okay, this is an exaggeration, but at least once every month or so. I think you relate to me. So also there is this concern about having a beauty bias. I'm just giving some examples, like ageism, beauty bias, like if a person is looking good and is more presentable, that they may be able to do the job better and stuff like that. So this just takes the value, that this just reduces the person's what the person has to offer, you see. I mean, instead of basing their talent, instead of basing their caliber um, on on the basis of their performance and their work performance, you're basing it on their looks, which has, I don't think it's remotely related to it as well. So yes, that's some points about unconscious bias. There are, I think, around 10 or more sorts of unconscious bias that goes around. So this I found this article on easylama.com. You can give it a read. Next thing is glass ceiling. So I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but this is something that is kind of a burning term, you can say. So it refers to the fact that a qualified person wishing to advance within the hierarchy of his or her organization is stopped at a lower level due to discrimination, most often based on sexism or racism. Uh, so we get that a lot, right? We don't have, as women, we don't have that many role models to look forward to, or role models to. We see very less of them. That's why we recognize them all, right? Women, influential women like Indira Nui, we know some of them just because they are coming out, and again, slowly and steadily, things are changing for the better. And I hope that with this momentum, um, we'll be able to break this, glass ceiling bias at least. Also stuff like women can't stay late or travel. Women are less productive. Sometimes also the deciding factors for considering someone for a particular position. And this leads to an invisible glass ceiling that females can't aspire to rise above a certain level in the organization. And the next is obviously safety concerns. I think this is one of the most highlighted concerns, you can say. One of the excuses that people give to women is that, okay, if you're, working late at night, if you'll be returning late at night, don't take that job. And if they are not providing any any extra service to you as a female, like late night transportation service, don't do this. So I think these are some of the concerns that comes that is thrown at us a lot as women, um, when it leads to gender disparity, when it comes to gender disparity. So a little bit about my journey. So I'm still, it's been 3 years that I've been in this industry. So I haven't faced the glass ceiling bias yet, but I think it may come in the future. So, but I'm kind of educating myself around it. So yes, though I haven't had a chance to encounter the glass ceiling thing that I mentioned earlier. I had my own share of issues. So the most prominent issue that I can think of at the top of my head is lack of role models, you can say. So we had a technical society in our college, okay. uh, so and we had a very strict end time, like 6 p.m., you can see. I know that's very early. So there were times when many of my friends missed out on important projects, uh, which they would have otherwise done if they were if they were males. So, and also another thing that I was also into sports. So, and we also had to ask for extending the end time just because we didn't have enough time to practice, because we didn't have the code to ourselves, you see. um, so there were times when things seemed too far-fetched as well, things like um, you know things like I won't be able to do it, imposter syndrome. So and also if I'm smarter or if I'm as smart as my male classmate or so. All of these confusions or double minds always cropped up in my mind as well. But thankfully, within the technical society, there were a few seniors who paved the way for us, a few female seniors. So I was introduced to open source, all thanks to me joining the technical society back in my sophomore year. And I was one of the first students to be an outreachy intern back in my college days. So at first, all of us thought that we wouldn't be able to get through these programs. So talking about outreachy, it is like um, a 3-month internship program, not really an internship, mentorship program for underrepresented groups in tech. Um, Basically, women plus the LGBTQ community, everyone. Also, it is open to trans and cis men. So yes, at first, even I thought that I wouldn't be able to make it, but I took a giant leap of faith, and I was able to, make my way through it. So yes, so I'm thankful that I had that courage to take that first step, and I'm honored to be a trailblazer. So we need more such trailblazers and women to look up to and ask for advice in terms of need or when we are in double binds. So there is this is where I stress upon the importance of having a mentor. You know, I know the mentors can be of a different, mentors can be of the same gender or different gender as well. But if they are of the same gender, they will be able to connect to your problems. They will be able to relate to your problems, and they will be able to give suitable advice in case you are in a difficult situation. So yes, it's very important to have a mentor slash. It may be a friend as well, whoever. So whom you can share your concerns with, share your goals and aspirations with. So as women, we need to stick together and provide that required support to everyone who we think is in need of that support. So even at the workplace, I'm one of the only female engineers in my team, and I'm striving hard to be a good role model and a trailblazer. So I didn't realize it until very recently, you can say, because I realized it when one of my, you can say, mentors, he suddenly said, "Oh, you're the only female engineer here." I'm like, okay, but that doesn't make a difference, right? We have the same roles and responsibilities. And I always viewed myself as an engineer, as a teammate who is, contributing to the team, contributing to an open source project, just as my other male counterparts will do. So yes, that was it about my journey. Talking about women empowerment, I have certain tips. That is, first of all, acknowledge hidden efforts, be it your housemaid, be it your mother, be it whoever who is providing you with extra care while you do your duties, while you do your roles and responsibilities. Be grateful to them. Just say that you're thankful that they're there, they're around. Um, because the pandemic made us realize that life is short, right? We have got one life. So um, thank them while you can, while they are still around. So yes, please acknowledge all the efforts. um, the next thing is support. That is, I often hear women saying that we are jealous of each other. They are very um, I mean, I've seen this back in my college as well. um, there were some people who were not sharing these opportunities to other female students just because they will get ahead, you know stuff like that. So that shouldn't be the case. um, Collaboration should be given more importance over competition. So that's what I meant by support. Be there for someone in need, and provide the support. If you see certain anomalies in the behavior of some person, reach out to them, speak to them, and uh, be that amiable person so that people can share their thoughts about them. And be it any problems that they're facing, be it any abuse that they faced, all of that. So we need the support, like every individual needs the support. So this is also a way in which you can give back to all the support that you've received from other stronger women in your life. The next thing is use inclusive language. As I said earlier, slowly but steadily there are changes. We have kind of changed from "Hey guys" to "Hey folks." Also, make sure that you're very mindful when you're speaking about it. It may be a joke to you, but it may come out as offensive to people of other genders, other religions, or maybe someone from a different race as well. So yes, please be very mindful about about using inclusive language. And I know it's kind of there are certain stuff like "hello guys" was something that was unintentional. I mean, we didn't mean to. It was not meant to degrade or say state that you know I, I would say that it was not there in the first place to state that there are only guys in the team or so. But I think it just followed, kind of handed down to us through the generations, so we were kind of using it, but it's time to change it for the better. Next thing is creating awareness, that is sharing opportunities with other people. If they are in a fix, or if they are in a difficult situation, make them aware of all the opportunities that you can find. I mean, you have the internet. uh, you know Make them aware of helpline numbers in case they are in a problem. um, so yes, creating awareness is very important. Even sharing opportunities is equally important. I mean, if you have come across certain opportunities like outreachy, I came across that opportunity. I kind of held a talk to the students who may be interested in open source in the first place. So yes, creating opportunities and sharing opportunities and creating awareness is important. The next thing is speak up. Obviously, this is on a personal level, and it's easier said than done. I'm aware of it. So speak up, not only for yourself but also for others, just in case you think that they are weak and they are you know not in a place to stand up for themselves. So yeah, speak up. If you see that someone is using some racial slur or some not inclusive language, or maybe something offensive, speak up then and there. Just say that, okay, I found it offensive. Can we just stop this discussion, right? So yes, please speak up whenever you find some stuff. So I just gave a very simple example, as in if you find it offensive, just say that it's offensive. Okay, moving on with the next point, that is offer flexible schedules for caregivers. So the reason again why I used caregivers and not for women, because caregivers can be both women and men. So yes, this is one of the examples of inclusive language. So yes, please offer flexible schedules for caregivers. There should be um, what do you call that? Leaves for primary carers, secondary carers. I mean, we have that in our office. Even there are paternal leaves. I mean, paternal leaves is as important as maternal leaves also. So yes, please offer flexible schedules, and women and men and all the others, please make sure that you have it as a requirement when you're looking for a workplace, uh, or you're looking for a company or an organization to join. Please make sure that they offer flexible schedules, because you never know um, what is waiting what is waiting for you. So yes, please be on a lookout for companies offering flexible schedules when you are looking for an organization. The next thing is close skill gaps if necessary. um, that is, if you I mean, I'm not sure about other companies. I mean, I've been in one company only as of now, and we have this leadership training and um, other skills training for people who want to learn more. So yes, as a manager and also as a peer, try and close as much skill gaps as necessary. You can just provide unofficial mentorship as well. Try and share skills as you learn more, and this is a good way to give back as well. The next thing is more role models to look up to. I think if we have more women in the industry, more women taking up uh, you know the higher up positions, position of a director, position of a manager, and if we have more role models to look up to, then I think it is highly likely that we would want to be that woman in the future. So yes, these were certain tips that I can think of at the top of my head when it comes to women empowerment. So yes, that's all from my side. Feel free to reach out to me. um, these are my handles. I know these are something that's technical. I have given my GitHub handle as well, because it has the links to my LinkedIn and stuff if you want to connect with me. I'm not that active on Twitter, but you can try your hand. I always reply to DMs though. So cool. I'm open to having discussions about this. And if you have any other opinions that you'd like to share or any questions you would like to ask, I'm here.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an informative session. We would now move on to the Q&A session. I request all the participants to send their questions in the chat box. Ma'am, one of the question is already here. It was here while the session was going on. The question is, why did you choose your STEM field, and were you inspired by someone, like in specific, any female person in STEM inspired you?
Uh, well, I kind of what got me inspired to be in STEM. To be very honest, I think as students and as students in India, we are very confused. I mean, we have lots of opportunities to take care of. I mean, lots of opportunities to think of. And when I first, entered high school, you can say, not sure, high school, like the one after matriculation.
Yes.
So I was not sure of it. I was only sure of one thing, that I didn't want to pursue biology anymore because that was not something that I was interested in. I kind of knew that I'm not interested in it anymore. So the only thing that I was interested in was computer science and maths because both of them kind of, you know, kept me going. That was something that I used to look up to. I was a big bookworm. I was a big nerd. So I used to study a lot. So so yeah, those were the subjects that I was very confident about. So I asked my father when I was going to choose my undergraduate degree course, and I said that okay, I'm not sure what to choose because I only know that I love computer science and I love maths. That's all I love. I don't love physics. But my father said that okay, in that case, you can go ahead with an engineering course. Um, it will give you some time to think as well. But after that, if you want to go for higher studies, then that's fine as well. And you can say when I joined the technical society and I joined, started contributing to projects in open source, that got me interested in STEM, and that got me interested in, you know, pursuing a career in technology. And talking about my inspiration, uh, I can just go on about role models to be very honest. I mean, during my free time, I read the stories about Grace Hopper, about Indira Nui, about all the other female role models that we see. But um, I kind of read all of them. But to be very honest, my role model is my mother. To be very honest, she's a homemaker, but I feel that if she hadn't, pushed me to go on debates, I mean, it was kind of a bit harsh, you can say. I mean, I was kind of forced to go on debates, and I was not a very, talkative person. I was only talkative in front of my friends. I was not talkative in front of the camera or in front of people. But she kind of forced me to do that, and she kind of, helped me open up, helped me voice my opinions. That's why I'm able to speak right now, in front of people. So I think she's my role model because she kind of instilled that courage and confidence in me to always believe in myself and always believe that uh, you know whatever I think, my individual thoughts and aspirations uh, is right, and my individual instincts is right. So she kind of formed the base around my individuality and my identity. I know this sounds a bit very realistic. I mean, even if I state that Grace Hopper inspired me, I'm not sure. I only read her, but I didn't know her personally. So, but I know my mother personally. So, that's why she's my role model.
Sorry, ma'am. I think there was a network issue.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I'm
there
not
was a
sure.
network.
I'm not sure how far you've heard, but
Yeah, ma'am, I could hear you completely. Yeah, just the last point I missed out on that.
yeah, I just said that I wanted to set a realistic, role model because I didn't know Grace Hopper, I didn't know Indira Nooyi personally, but I know my mother personally. So yes, she is my role model. I mean, she is that epitome of strength, confidence, and courage to me.
Ma'am, so is mine. My role model is also my mother. Ma'am, the
Yes,
second question being,
girl
the
power.
second question being, the second question being, what are some of the opportunities for women in STEM?
I would say, as students, in case you are a student, I would say go ahead with learning in open source. I mean, I can share. I'm not sure if I can share them right now, but if you just Google open source programs, and there will be a link of a GitHub link called open source programs slash summer of code programs. I'm not sure of the current name, but it keeps changing. So it has a list of all the opportunities that you can, avail. Because I think that as students, um, there is a lot of thing to take care of, right? You have to take care of your assignments, you have to take care of, trainings and all the academic stuff. So but at the same time, I see many students going for certifications, going for paid training opportunities. That's fine as well. But I think if something is available for free, like, maybe if you want to learn a new stack, go ahead with free code camp. It is open source, and it has very good, the track is very very detailed. So you can go ahead with, learning from free code camp or learning from open source. And once you learn about it, try and, contribute in one of the open source programs. You may not be interested in participating, you may just be, looking around the projects. So that will give you some idea about collaboration, about, teamwork, because I think it is one of the most essential things that comes that recruiters take into consideration as well when you are, when they are looking for a suitable candidate. So yes, I think open source is the way to go. um, and, contributing to an open source project teaches you a lot more than just code.
Ma'am, the next question being, should we raise our voice at a particular moment when we feel discriminated or wait for the correct moment?
Okay, that's a deep one. I didn't expect that. Kind of expected it, but okay. So I would say that there is a way in which you express, and there is the correct time for everything as well. uh, I mean, you shouldn't be all angry and, pounce upon the person. That is not the way. uh, what I do is, if I think that's serious, I say that in a serious note. Or uh, I would say that it depends upon the situation. Because when the situation is like you're in a meeting, and, you shouldn't interrupt that person just for the sake of, calling them out. You can just say them at the end of the meeting. And so try and read the room. Okay, read the room, read uh, what the, situation is for. But if it's not a meeting, that's just a casual conversation, you can just say that, okay, I found this offensive, can you not do this, at least in front of me. You can just say that. But I would say, in some situations you will have to wait for the right moment, and in some situations you have to say that then and there. So yes, I would say read the room. I would say read the situation you're in, and take the decision according to that.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the next question being, how to bring about consciousness about gender imparity when there is enriched in our education system?
I'm sorry, can you come again?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the question is, how can we bring consciousness among gender imparity, among different genders about gender imparity when it is inside the like the teachings and the studies we do from the very beginning and rooted in our society?
uh okay, that's a tough one. To be very honest, even I was very, used to going with the flow, very used to not questioning anything, very used to that, because again, it's the conditioning, it's the society that we stay in. But once you understand your own individuality, and once you understand the things that you like and you don't, and once you realize that about your own self, that's where, the real education starts, and that's where you start seeing the world in a different light. You start seeing what is bad, what is not bad, and stuff like that. So I have seen many of my friends who don't explicitly say that they're feminists. I kind of condemn that, because many people are offended with the fact that you're a feminist, and I think that uh, it's just about having equal rights for all genders, so be it women, man, anyone. So if just fighting for equality is offending you, then maybe offending the company that you are in, just change the company. You're not in the right company. And I know it's deep rooted, but slowly and steadily things are changing. But I would say that do whatever you can. Do try and do whatever you can. Maybe try and help someone in need. Maybe if you see that your housemate is not does not, you can say, provide equal opportunities to her male child as well as a female child, try and teach her, or at least you know um, offer to pay for her education or so. Try whatever you can, I would say at this moment. But again, I'm glad that you brought this question. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. The things are changing slowly but steadily. I think it will bring a change about.
Yes.
Ma'am, the next question. How does Red Hat build products with community produced open source projects?
mm, okay, that's kind of an internal thing. Not sure. uh Trade secret. But I would say that as students you can contribute to open source projects and learn more about them, and in the process you can also learn more about the products.
Ma'am, the second question, the next question being, can you tell more about what made you inclined towards learning open source?
First thing was it was free. And as student, I was not that inclined towards paid education, paid training programs apart from my academic stuff. So I kind of I said that I joined the technical society, and I kind of participated in Rails Girls Summer of Code. I know it has, I think it has stopped now. It's no longer there, but that was one of my first step towards learning more about open source. I learned about Git. Then I participated in Hacktoberfest that year in 2017. That's how I came to know more about uh, open source. I kind of loved it. So that's how I thought that okay, this should this is also me giving back to the community, me learning as well. I mean, it was two-way. So I totally loved this, mutual learning thing that came along with open source that got me inclined to it. And obviously, the first thing was it was free, and the next thing was mutual learning, and the next thing was give back to the community. All three. So it gave me full satisfaction. So that's why I was inclined to it.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the next question being, what was your working experience at Red Hat?
It's been good so far, I would say. We are not bound by tech stacks. We are not bound by we are free to express our ideas. If you want to work on a side project as well, that's fine. If you want to create your own YouTube channel as well, that's fine as well. All of that. So we have this, just as the name suggests, open. We have this open culture at office as well. So we have this flat organization as well. We can ping anybody for help or learn about a particular project or a particular feature anytime. So you needn't worry that okay, she's a manager, she may think ill about me and stuff like that. So we have this flat organization, this open culture that we foster a lot, and we are very proud about it. So the working environment has been a very you can say progressive. um, as someone who was just looking to go for an organization, um, I just wanted to work for an organization that um, also nurtured this power of nurtured and spread this power of open source. So that's one of the things that which influenced me in choosing to work for Red Hat.
Ma'am, the last question being, is there any specific advice that you want to give to young women who are like stepping into STEM as of now? Like we are budding engineers as of now. Any advice that you want to give to us?
Okay. uh okay. Advice. I think many of us can give advice, but nobody can understand your own problems as well as you do. First thing is, I would say, don't just follow the crowd. Don't do that. I mean, in the beginning, even I didn't know what open source was, whether I should venture into robotics, whether I should venture into machine learning, because that was kind of, that's still in trend, I would say. So don't follow the crowd. Try and follow your own passion. What kind of you know gets you all excited? What kind of you know um, gets you increases the level of curiosity that you have within you. Try to be as curious as possible. Try to you know try your hand in everything. Don't just restrict yourself to only Android development in the beginning, you can say. If you try Android development, data visualization, web development, all of that, and then you are suddenly like, okay, I like this, then that's fine. But if you're completely restricting yourselves, that's kind of, I'm not sure if that's a good approach, because personally I would say that if when I was just starting off, I kind of ventured into all of these fields that I mentioned, and then I kind of worked on all of these, and that's how I understood what tools open source provides to learn the stuff that's required for a specific field. So yes, don't restrict yourselves to tech stacks. Find your passion, and yes, be open, share your ideas. That's all.
I hope we were able to clarify most of your doubts, but due to time constraints, we will have to end this wonderful session here. Thank you, ma'am, for taking the time today to share your insightful experiences with us. And also thank you all the participants for being such an amazing audience. Hope you all had a wonderful time and a good learning experience. And for more such events, stay tuned to the IST VIT social media handles. The links for the same are provided in the description box below. Also, do not forget to fill the attendance form present in the chat box. Thank you all and have a wonderful day ahead.